Welcome to the Nevis Newscast for Wednesday, October 24th, 2018. I'm Fredicia Liebert. Officers from the Customs and Excise Department here on Nevis visited the Flamboyant Nursing Home on Tuesday, October 23rd, to care for the residents as part of the department's 60th anniversary week of activities. Assistant Comptroller at the department is Roger Fifield.
We are pleased once again to be at the Flamboyant Home, the Customs and Excise Department Nevis Division, to share with the residents at the Flamboyant Home. We would be serving lunch to them, and some of them who are unable to feed themselves, we would assist in feeding them. It gives us pleasure in doing this annually. Normally we are here during the month of January, where we celebrate our Customs Week of activities surrounding International Customs Day. However, in this week, which started Sunday the 21st of October through the 28th of October, Sunday 28th of October, we are celebrating a week of activities in commemorating our 60th anniversary of existence as a Customs and Excise Department as an entity, independent entity. So we are here once again, and we are happy to be serving lunch to the residents here.
Nurse manager at the Flamboyant Nursing Home, Donna Hanley, expressed gratitude to the employees of the St. Kitts and Nevis Customs and Excise Department for their assistance for the day.
It's a pleasure having the Customs Department feeding our residents this day, and we are happy to know that we obtain gifts in different ways, whether it's time or goods. So we thank the Customs to share with us some of their talents or skills or what they have to offer our residents.
Meanwhile, Assistant Comptroller Roger Fifield noted that the Customs and Excise Department's courier in Charlestown will be named after someone who has made a significant contribution to the department in an official naming ceremony which will take place tomorrow, Thursday, October 25th.
And that facility would be named after someone, who would have done a lot for the community. Someone who would have worked with the Customs and Excise Department for a number of years, somebody who would have contributed in a significant way to the Customs and to the Federation on a whole. So I would like to take this opportunity to basically, invite the general public. It's in the heart of Charlestown, Lower Government Road at 9 a.m. And because of the naming of the facility, the facility normally opens to the public at 9 a.m. So I just want, to apologize for any inconvenience, because on that day, the facility will be opening at 10:30 a.m. to accommodate the naming of the facility.
The week of activities is being celebrated under the theme 60 Years of Dedicated Service, Innovation and Advancement. Meantime, the St. Kitts and Nevis Customs and Excise Department began its week of activities in celebration of its 60th anniversary with a worship service on Sunday, October 21st at the Charlestown Methodist Church. Officers from St. Kitts journeyed to Nevis to join their counterparts for that service, where Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, addressed the congregation.
Intrinsic to the well-being of the economy and our country as a whole is a vital role played by Customs and Excise in stemming the tide of criminal activity. To this end, you have been increasingly focused on joint security operations and stepping up your border patrols. And I want to commend you for that work that you have been doing.
The theme for the week of activities is 60 Years of Dedicated Service, Innovation and Advancement.
I gather the Customs, for example, released an app in Google's Play Store which enabled our citizens to anonymously provide tips and express any concerns that they have about the behavior of any officer. And just last month, our Customs and Excise Department installed a state-of-the-art scanner that is able to swallow barrels so that you can see all of the contents inside. It also came at a heavy cost. But as we are dealing more and more with illicit activities, as we are dealing with smarter man-made mines, we have to ensure that we add the technology to our knowledge, to our experience, to ensure that the criminals do not get a headway in the country. This, in a sense, will revolutionize the way container screening is being executed in the country, as before all of this was done manually. And the experience has been that the manual approach was never enough in terms of interdiction efforts in the country. So again, I commend this effort at innovation.
The Prime Minister also spoke to the dedication to duty of the customs and excise officials.
With your loyalty, your commitment and industry, you will fulfill your mandate and be an exemplar to other entities in the Federation. So as you celebrate your 60th anniversary, I want to commend you, congratulate you, and hope that the celebrations would themselves inspire you to even greater service.
Among those in attendance were Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, and Mrs. Sharon Brantley, other officials of the NIA, as well as Senator and Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, the Honorable Akila Byron Nisbet. The service was followed by lunch for the dignitaries and customs officials at the newly renovated Government House at Bath Plains. Still to come.
So these are some of the things we have to look at in the future as to some of the things which are acting as deterrents, preventing persons from going into teaching.
The details after this break.
Even though I'm in Taiwan studying, I stay connected to home by watching local news on NevisTVOnline.com using my NTV app on my mobile device. Remember, if you don't see and I don't see, NNC on NTV. Try it now.
Welcome back. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Human Resources, Edson Elliott, believes there needs to be more publicity to encourage persons to become teachers. The Permanent Secretary, who notes that the NIA continues to struggle to find persons to fill positions in teaching, highlights some of the benefits.
And so I still want to encourage persons to go in the field of teaching because the mere fact of working with persons, especially persons who you meet and you feel like they might be at a disadvantage, the reading level might not be up to par, and for you to be able to invest your time with them and be able to get them to move from point A to point B certainly is a very rewarding feeling. And sometimes the reward would come back to you, because sometimes the students themselves would show the appreciation. They will know the work that the teacher did and would show the appreciation to the teacher, sometimes in some tangible way.
He also speaks to some of the reasons persons may not be looking at the teaching profession as a career option.
I've observed something at Human Resources, that when you get into teaching, you do not get appointed until you have decided to go off to Teachers Training College. But your counterpart who probably decided to go into the field of agriculture, you might be employed initially, but very soon after, if your performance is at a very high level, your recommendation will come for you to be appointed. And then once you're appointed, then you begin to move up the salary scale. So some persons have reasoned that out and said that to go into teaching, for you to reach to a point where you then elevate in the public service is too difficult, and I've decided to use alternative routes, which is going to other ministries and then develop from there. So these are some of the things we have to look at in the future as to some of the things which are acting as deterrents, preventing persons from going into teaching.
Elliott, who is a former teacher, principal, and education officer, has advice for prospective teachers.
Eventually, you can fill some of the top positions in the Ministry of Education, using your experience as a teacher to help you to move on to the other areas which are available, education officers, etc., etc. I normally say to persons who might say they want to get into medicine, I said, you know, that's good. But if you can cement yourself in teaching, that exposure which you get from standing in front of students and trying to articulate and trying to teach and encourage them to understand a particular concept, certainly is a solid foundation which you're laying within yourselves and would, I believe, grow fruits when you eventually reach into the field of medicine. So teaching is still a very good profession which I will promote to anybody, any day.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Human Resources, Edson Elliott, appearing as the guest on the October 21st edition of Government at Work, with host and PRO to the Nevis Island Administration, Keith Scarborough. The Ministry and Department of Agriculture, in collaboration with the Food and Agriculture Organization, today, Wednesday, October 24th, hosted a one-day backyard farming workshop which was geared towards food security. The opening ceremony was held at the Department of Agriculture's conference room at Prospect. The project coordinator is Brandon Fredericks.
All yard in Nevis should be planted with something more than only ornamental flowers. We need to decorate the surroundings with okra, tomato, pepper, eggplant, there to produce some very beautiful flowers. Well, those also produce some beautiful flowers also. So at the same time, we decorate and still have food to eat. Cherry Garden, community garden, will be established in a few days. That's a farmer fee school. We're having a farmer fee school in the Cherry Garden community. So we're gathering persons from in the area to learn about management of crops and pest and disease and what's that. Hope that the initiative will be replicated around all villages in Nevis.
The project was launched in October of 2017. Facilitator Juanita James gave details about the project.
And the project really is to support for increased access and availability of fresh local food through the development of urban, peri-urban, and backyard gardening. It is a project for 12 months. So we're coming towards, in a sense, the end of the project, although there has been some unavoidable delays, and the support from FAO will continue, even after this month, to see it through. There was already mention of sustaining the work that will start in this project, or will be strengthened. And it is specifically targeting the development of backyard gardens and school gardens. To begin with, there will be, already have been identified a school with which we will be working, and this will be considered a training demonstration center where training will be done in crop production as well as in nutrition and healthy eating habits. So this will be, in a sense, a model which eventually would be replicated, duplicated in other settings.
Also present at the ceremony were Assistant Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Russell Jeffers, Director of Agriculture, Randy Elliott, FAO Representative Ian Chapman, as well as health officials, teachers, farmers, and other invited guests. That's how we end this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, I'm Fredicia Liebert. Thank you for viewing.